Hello, you're welcome once again to Know Your Legal Rights. In today's edition of Know Your Legal Rights, we'll be discussing about a very important topic in today's edition of Know Your Legal Rights. And the topic we'll be discussing today has been on the news for some time, and it's no other topic than defamation. We are going to look at what is defamation and when can you sue a person for defamation, and what are your rights and liability regards defamation. So in today's edition, I will tell you things about defamation. You are going to have a deep insight about defamation and when the crime of defamation can be committed and what are your liability or your rights if you want to sue someone for defamation if someone has committed that crime of defamation against you, or also in order to protect yourself not to commit the crime of defamation. Now, when you look at when God created man, God gave man freedom. When God placed man into the Garden of Eden, God gave man freedom, and the freedom was that a man could do whatsoever he liked, but God gave man the law. There was a law God placed in the Garden of Eden to guide man the way man lives in the Garden of Eden. And as such, God never forced man to obey the law. God permitted man to act freely. And one of these rights God gave to man was the right of freedom of movement, freedom of expression, freedom of human and degraded treatment, freedom of gathering, because Adam and Eve could gather together and into discussion. God gave them freedom and gave them a law on how to guide them on how to live, in order to guide them on how to live in the Garden of Eden. But God told them, the day you break this particular law, these are the consequences of that particular act, or that this will be the consequences for breaking a particular law. So also the fundamental rights of human. That is the reason why many countries they have what we call the fundamental rights of human, which includes the right of freedom, right of expression, rights of freedom of worship, freedom of gathering, freedom of movement, and freedom of speech, which is also the fundamental right that was given to man by God. And without the freedom of speech, that will pose a threat to the existence of a man. That without the freedom of speech, it will be very difficult for man to live and to survive. God actually gave it to man. That is why you see the constitution of many countries today have this right embedded in their constitution. And they're trying to protect this right as much as possible, because this were the right that was given by God to man for his existence. Now, so today we'll be looking at this freedom of speech and what is the extent of this freedom of speech and what is the limitation of this freedom of speech and when could it becomes a defamation, a crime of defamation. So that is what we'll be looking at today's edition of Know Your Legal Rights. So God gave man God gave man this right of freedom of expression, like in every constitution of every country, every laws of every country, this right is enshrined in the constitution of every country. The right of freedom of expression. Even the constitution of Nigeria, section 39 of the constitution of Nigeria, talks about the freedom of speech, freedom of expression, which means that everyone has the right to everyone have the right to make an opinion, to have an idea, and also to express their idea about a particular thing. And also in every democratic society, in every governance, any democratic society, for the survival of such society, this right of freedom of expression is essential, because when the citizen of that country exercise this right of freedom of expression, it helps the governance. It helps the governance in order to know to know the needs of the people, and it helps them to govern properly. So the right of freedom of expression is essential in every democratic society, but where there's a line drawn, or there's a limit to the right of freedom of expression. This is what we'll be looking at in this particular topic known as defamation. Just as I said earlier on, this concept of defamation or defamation has been in the news for some time. that's been in the news for some time, and there have been a lot of write-up. There have been a lot of ton of events about this particular incident of defamation. There was one time the senior advocate of Nigeria by name Mr. By name by name by name Falano, Femi Falano, that is a social media activist known as Martis Ose, popularly called Very Dark Man, for releasing a particular video that leads to defamation of the senior advocate of Nigeria character about a particular incident, about a particular turn of events. That is an accident. A lot of Nigerians spoke about it, and a lot of there was a lot of video on social media, a lot of write-up. The case actually went to court and it was finally adjourned. Also, currently there is another case on defamation of character that is actually ongoing in Nigeria, that have attracted a lot of criticism, has attracted a lot of criticism, also that attracted a lot of expression for both people in Nigeria and outside Nigeria. This is a case of this human rights activist by name Dele Fawotimi, by the name Dele Fawotimi or Fatiwotimi. This human rights activist actually he published a book in which he mentioned a particular case about a senior advocate of Nigeria by name Afe Babalola, and which that man was also implicated or indicted in that case. The man actually took the case to court. Today was the hearing of the case, and the human rights activist Dele Fawotimi was actually granted a bail of 30 million naira. Wow. Is that how serious the crime of defamation is? Very, very serious. The crime of defamation, very, very serious. A very, very serious crime under the Nigerian law and laws outside Nigeria. It's a very, very serious crime in Nigeria currently, especially. Though other countries have been recognizing the right of freedom of expression. As the campaign for the right of freedom of expression grows, other countries have been reducing the rigidity regarding this crime of defamation of character. Now, what is defamation? Well, the term defamation, now let's look at that word, defame. The mission. Now, what is a fame? A fame simply means someone being popular, someone being known. Simply talks about the publicity of a person. The way I use that word defamation, it simply means to reduce the popularity of a person, or to reduce the way people see the person, or to reduce the way the person is seen in the eyes of the public. To reduce the ego, or to reduce the worth of a person before the public. So that word fame means popularity of a person to the public, or that word fame simply means importance of a person to the public. While defamation simply means reducing this popularity or this respect that have been attached to this person, to the fame of this person. That's what defamation simply means. Now, what is defamation in the legal terms? In legal terms, defamation simply means a statement. The statement could be oral, could be written, or it could be a declaration. So defamation is a statement. It could be a declaration that is made in either oral or written to harm the reputation of a person, or to harm the image of a person. Now, every human being protects their reputation. Every human being does a lot of things in order to build reputation for themselves, for their family, for their legacy, and so on. So they does a lot of things in order to protect this reputation that they have built over a period of time. So now defamation is a statement either oral statement or a written statement that injures the reputation of a person, or that harms the reputation of a person, or in a statement or a declaration, either written or spoken, that is oral or spoken statement, or a publication that affects, that damages the reputation of another person. This is what we call defamation. So as long as we have the right of freedom of expression, but once that expression, once that right has been exercised in a way, in a manner that it affects or it injures the reputation of another person, it is what is called defamation of character. Then that is where the crime of defamation has been committed. Now, defamation has its origin from ancient legal system like the Roman law. Now, in the Roman law, under the Roman law, a person can sue for defamation of character if a particular statement has been made to injure their personal reputation, or a particular statement has been made to injure the personality of a person. The person can sue for defamation of character. So the concept of defamation has its root from ancient legal system like the Roman law. While in Nigeria, the law of defamation in Nigeria is rooted from the English common law, or the British common law that was resistant during the colonial period and was handed over to Nigeria, and also through various statutory provisions that have been in existence in Nigeria. But the modern law of defamation in Nigeria is built on the English common law. Now, the present law of defamation in Nigeria is built on the English common law. Yeah. Now, this under the English legal system, formally under the legal system, we have defamation of character. Defamation could be either a civil act or a civil crime, or it could be a criminal defamation. That is under the English law. We have a civil defamation and have a criminal defamation. Currently, under the English legal system, the criminal defamation has been abolished by the 2013 Defamation Act. By the UK 2013 Defamation Act has abolished the criminal defamation. But nevertheless, in Nigeria, the crime of defamation can still be punished, or is punishable under the criminal as a crime. That is under the criminal. It can be punished as a crime, and also it can be punished is punishable under the civil law. In other words, if a act of defamation is committed to another person, the person can either sue the offender, to court, can prosecute the offender and get damages from the offender, or the person can report to the police. We can report to the police, and therefore the state can sue on the behalf of the person for the crime of defamation. That is under the criminal. That is a criminal defamation. So in Nigeria, we have both the criminal defamation and the civil defamation. But under the English law, the criminal defamation has been abolished by the UK 2013 Defamation Act. It has been abolished. While Nigerian law of defamation is rooted from this English common law system. Now, under the English legal system, now the act of the defamation, the act of defamation, that is defamation, which it is an oral statement, or it is the statement that harms the reputation of another person, or that damages the reputation of another person. Now, under the English common law system, for one to successfully sue for the crime of defamation, or for one to successfully sue someone for the crime of defamation, the person must be able to prove certain things before the person will successfully sue another person or an offender for the crime of defamation. Now, first, that a false statement has been made against the person, that is, the offender actually made a false statement against the person. Secondly, this false statement has been communicated to another, to a third party. For instance, if someone make a false statement to you in person, for instance, someone said, you said you have done a particular thing, or someone said, oh, you told me that you are able to, you told me you collected money from that man before you were able to do that job for that particular man. Now, if it is between you and the person, you can't sue the person for defamation because it has not been communicated to a third party. Whereas you never told the person that you actually collected money from the third party before you executed the job. But now the person is not accusing you of bribery. So, for the fact that that has not been communicated to a third party, it is not defamation. But the very moment that the person communicates that to a third party, you can sue that person for defamation. It has become a crime of defamation. You can sue the person for defamation, and you'll be successful in suing the person for defamation. So, defamation is when the heart under the English legal system, where Nigerian Defamation Act is rated from. Before you can successfully sue someone for a crime of defamation, one, a false statement must have been made against a person. Two, that statement must have been communicated to a third party. Three, you are able to prove that such statement has affected or has damaged your reputation. Before you will successful in suing someone for the crime of defamation. At this time, you must be able to prove this before the court of law, that a false statement has been made, which is injurious to your character, or which is able to harm your character. Two, that statement has been made to a third party, that the third party have heard that statement. Three, and such statement has actually harmed your character, or that statement has actually affected or damaged your image. Under this way, once you're able to prove this under the court of law, you're able to sue someone under the court, you'll be able to be successful for suing someone for the crime of defamation. But once you cannot prove this before the court, that time the person will be acquitted, the person will be discharged, your prosecution is bound to fail. So this is now defamation. Defamation could take different forms. Could take two forms. The defamation could take in form of a written statement, or that's a written statement either in a publication, in a newspaper, in a book, even in a WhatsApp chat, or as a text message to a third person. You send a text message to someone else about a particular person, which you know that it is actually like, which you know that it is false. You send a text message to someone else, or you communicated to someone else about a particular person, and you know that particular thing you are communicating to that third party is actually false. That is defamation. It could even be in form of a text message. It could be in form of a letter being sent to a third party about the particular person, about an incident which is false. And one thing about defamation. Defamation is either intentional or unintentional. The crime of defamation could be committed intentionally and could be committed unintentionally. In other words, you might not know if that statement is true or not. It's true, or that statement is false. It doesn't matter before the law. Whether you knew the statement is true or you knew the statement is false, it does not matter. It does not matter before the law. You have committed the crime of defamation. So defamation is an intentional or unintentional statement, false statement that is made, or a statement that is made that damages the reputation of another person. Whether it is intentional or intentional. You know whether the statement is true or the statement is false. It is defamation under the law. So now, defamation could take the form of a defamation could take the form of a libel, or it could take the form of a slander. Now, defamation is a libel when it is written. When it is a written message, either it's a text message, it's a letter you send to someone, or it is a publication that is made in the newspaper. That is defamation, and that is called a libel. Now, it's called a libel because it is like labeling someone. It's like placing a label on the person. What the person is not, you have already labeled that person, giving that person a name. That is why it's called libel. And it's a very more serious crime, very more serious crime under the crime of defamation, because such written document or such written statement is bound to be permanent. That is why it is a very, very serious offense under the law. Why it is a slander when it is an oral word or a spoken word that is being a spoken statement that damages the reputation of another person. Then it is called slander when it is a spoken word or when it is an oral word. It is a spoken word or is a word that is being spoken either from internet or through whichever medium. Then that is called slander. So these are the two major types of defamation under the under the English law and under the Nigerian law. Now, in the Nigerian law, the criminal defamation is still retained under the Nigerian law, unlike the English legal system, whereby the criminal defamation has been abolished. Now, due to the growth and the increase in awareness, increase in advertisement, increase activities for the push of freedom of expression, many countries have abolished the criminal defamation, especially during the period during the period for political defamation, whereby various candidates defame each other in order to win an election. So because of that, the criminal defamation has actually been abolished. But Nigeria is still retained under the Nigerian law. So under the Nigerian law, one could be prosecuted for a criminal defamation and one could be prosecuted for a civil defamation. Now, under the Nigerian law, the law that guides against defamation is the criminal code. We have the criminal code and the penal code. The criminal code governs the law of defamation in the southern part of the country, while the penal code governs the law. The penal code and the northern criminal law governs defamation in the northern part of the country, and is punishable for a period of 2 years or a fine. For if the offender is found under the law guilty, is punishable for a period of with an imprisonment of 2 years, or the offender is going to pay a fine, or both. One of the southern part of the country that's under the criminal code, the act of defamation, the crime of defamation, if the person did not know, if it was unintentional defamation, that the statement was false, then the person will be punishable under the law with a prison term for 1 year. But if it is known, if the person knows that the statement was wrong and went ahead to publish the statement, then the person will be looking at 2 years in prison. The person is going to pay a fine, or both. The person will be looking at 2 years in prison, or the person will still asked to pay fines, will pay a fine. And also, the person will be told to pay damages to the person whose reputation has been damaged. Now, that is under the criminal code and under the penal code. Also, another law under Nigerian law that governs defamation is the Cybercrime Act. The Cybercrime Act also governs or rules over defamation. Now, we look at the Cybercrime Act. The Cybercrime Act, Section 24 of the Cybercrime Act, prohibits the dissemination of false information through any network or through any internet, through any type of internet ICT means. It prohibits dissemination of false information, section 24. So whether the state it is actually damages the reputation of someone or not, the section 24 makes it a crime, makes it a crime to disseminate false information, even if on the social media platform, on WhatsApp, Instagram, or several kind of false information. If such a person is prosecuted, if such a person is prosecuted, the person is going to face a prison term or they have to pay a fine. That's how serious the crime of defamation is in Nigeria. Now, this crime of defamation, is it without a defense? Just like every other crime in Nigeria, there is always a defense to every crime. Now, what is the first defense that a person that is charged with a crime of defamation has? What are the defenses for someone that has been charged with a crime of defamation? Or what are the defenses that is before the person in order to escape the punishment of defamation under the Nigerian law? One, the truth. If the statement that is made by the person can prove that that statement is the truth, or that statement is actually truth, then the person will be acquitted for the charge of defamation or the crime of defamation, as long as the offender can prove that the statement made by the offender is the truth, nothing but the truth. That is the first defense that's available for anybody that is charged for the crime of defamation under the Nigerian law. As long as the person can prove that that statement is true, then the person will be discharged and acquitted under the law. There's nothing anybody can do as long as the person can prove that the statement made by the person is nothing but the truth. Now, another defense that is available to someone that is charged with the crime of defamation under the Nigerian law. Another defense that is available to someone that is charged is fair comment. That is, if the offender can prove that such a statement made by him is a fair statement, that is based on an impartial observation of the offender, is based on an impartial criticism of an offender about a public matter. Take note. Now, this defense of fair comment is only available for a public matter, for a matter of public interest. Now, such a matter must be a matter of public interest before the person will escape the prosecution for being prosecuted for a crime of defamation. Now, that means this defense of fair comment is not available for a private matter, or an offender cannot rely on this particular defense for a private matter. This defense is only available for a matter of public interest. Now, and such a statement, as long as the offender can prove that such a statement is an impartial observation of the offender about the public matter, and such an offender can prove that such a statement made by the offender is an impartial observation or criticism about that public matter, then the person will be able to escape being prosecuted for a crime of defamation. So one, it must be a matter of public. Now, it must be a matter of public discourse, or it must be a matter of public interest. It must be a matter that have attracted a lot of public attention. Not just a matter of public interest, it must have attracted a lot of public attention. And such statement is made based on facts. And such statement must not be to prove the fact, the existence of the non-existence of the facts, but rather such statement is made from the available facts about that matter of public interest. And thirdly, such a statement, the offender must have made that statement honest, must have been an honest statement of the offender. It must not have a malicious intent attached to it. Once malice is able to be once malice is proven attached to such statement, the person cannot rely on this defense of defamation. So such defense is not available to them. So we have the false defense, which is the truth. As long as the offender can prove that the statement made by him is the truth, that is, or is truth or justification, he has a justification for making that statement. As long as the offender can prove that he has a justification for making that statement, or he can prove that such a statement is true. Either he can prove that he has justification for making the statement, or he can prove that that statement is true. Now, the defense is available to the offender. Secondly, is the statement. Another defense that's available under law for such a person is fair comment. That such comment was an unbiased or impartial observation or criticism of the offender about a matter of public interest. It must be a matter of public interest. Also, another defense that is available for this particular crime of defamation, or is available to a person that has been charged for the crime of defamation. Another type of defense that is available for this particular offender, that has been charged for the crime of defamation, is innocent dissemination. Now, innocent dissemination is that the person that is disseminating this information does not know, was not aware that this statement is false. Now, take note. Now, this defense is only available to those that owns public library. It's only available to vendors of newspaper. It's only available to publication houses, those people that sells the material in which this false and misleading information is being printed on. This defense is only available to this set of people. So take note that defamation is either the intentional or unintentional false statement or statement that is made to damage the reputation or to harm the reputation of another person. That's defamation. Whether it's intentional or unintentional, whether you are aware of it or you are not aware of it. But for media houses, the press, publication houses, the library could rely on this defense of innocent dissemination, that they were not aware that this statement is false. Now, the other defense that is also available to someone charged on the crime of this defamation, as we wrap up, is privileged statements. Now, privileged statement, we have absolute privileged statements, and we have the absolute privileged statements, and we have the other type of privileged statement. Now, absolute privileged statement is only meant for those that are in the parliament where they debate on bills. So statements that are made in such scenario or under such circumstances are covered by law. The person cannot be prosecuted for making such statements. And also in judiciary proceedings, statements that are made in court or statements that are made in any judicial proceeding are all regarded as privileged statements. So we have the absolute privileged statement, and we have the other type of privileged statement. That is a statement that is made under legal proceedings, or between a communication that is made between the lawyer and his client, or that is made during legal proceeding or other such situation. Now, so this is to say that the crime of defamation is a very, very serious crime under Nigerian law, and the Nigerian law does not take this particular crime lightly. This could go up to 2 to 3 years imprisonment by the Cybercrime Act, Section 24. Cybercrime Act prohibits dissemination of any false information, and anyone that is prosecuted under this act for dissemination of false information could face a jail term of 3 years. Yes, could face a jail term of 3 years, or the person could be asked to pay a bill of 7 million naira. That's how serious the crime of defamation of character is. So, if you have a problem of defamation of character, or you have or someone has defamed your character, someone has slandered you, someone has said statements that they don't know that is false about you, or someone has maliciously make false statements about you to tarnish your image and your character, you can sue the person for defamation of character. But seek the advice of a legal practitioner, seek the advice of a lawyer, but the lawyer is going to guide you on how to go about this, on how to seek redress for your right. In other words, the lawyer can able to educate you on your rights and your liability and how to get and how to sue for damages for your reputation that has been damaged. Also, before I go, I want you to know that I'm an IT trainer. I'm an IT trainer. We train groups, we train companies, employees on various IT skills that are related to data analysis. We train companies on various IT skills related to data analysis. Even research companies, we also train their employees on various IT skills related to data analysis. So I'm an IT trainer. I train company staffs. I train company employees. Also, we do group trainings. We do group trainings. We do home trainings. We do office training. If you want also come to your office to train you on a particular skills, we also undergo this particular types of training. We also do these types of training. So don't forget that if you want to do training that involves the data analysis, don't forget to contact me. My contact is below the description of this video. We do training on data analysis, data science, XPSS, e-views, advanced Excel. We do train financial analysis, on economic analysis and interpretation. We also do training on how to do Python, how programming, project management. Contact us if you want to train your staffs, you want to train your employees, or you're interested in a group training, you're interested in a home training. Don't forget to contact us through the description of this video below, and we get in touch with you. Also, before I go, I want you to know that also I'm into real estate. If you are looking for a place to buy a landed property, or you to buy an apartment in Lagos or outside Lagos, don't forget to contact me. We are also into real estate. Don't forget to contact me. Don't forget to contact me if you are interested in a property either in Lagos State or outside Lagos State. Don't hesitate to contact me. My contact address is below the description of this video. And if you love this video, don't forget to give it a thumb up. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to share the video to others. Thank you. See, I come next your way.